All right, so this video is intended to show you how to solve a common problem that happens in many households. It has to deal with your shower. And it is a common problem if you know how to solve it, right? So obviously, if you don't know how to solve it, it could be, a significant problem for you. You may then need a plumber to help you with it, and which will cost you quite a bit. All right, so um, I wanted to put this video together to show you how to solve this problem on your own without having to pay someone to do it. So most showers, when they are installed and built, you won't have this issue because again, when you turn your water on, you will get water. When you turn it off, the water will shut off completely, both in your shower head and if you have a faucet, in your faucet as well. Now this shower doesn't have a faucet, but no big deal. The problem is in this unit, so that's our main concentration here. So, so if you have a problem where you're having issues when you shut your water off, you still have a leak in your shower head or your faucet, right? Your water doesn't turn off completely, and so you are spending all this. You're losing water, and obviously it's going to cost you money. This video is intended for you. All right, so I'm going to show you what you need to do to solve this problem on your own. Well, the first thing you have to do though is to make sure that you identify the source of your water. So you have to head to wherever that source is. If it's in your basement, you got to identify it and go and shut your water off. Well, the reason is because if you don't shut your water, what's going to happen is if you begin to unassemble or disassemble this unit, you're going to get a rush of water on you here. It's going to be a big mess. It could cost you even more to even clean up and all of that. So again, number one, the first thing you need to do is head to your basement or wherever your main water source is. Inform your household that there's going to be no water in the meantime until you complete your job. Shut the water off before you begin. All right. Next, I'm going to show you the list of tools that you're going to need. These are very basic tools. Usually that you found that you already have in your household, right? So, but if you don't, just head to like your Lowe's, Home Depot, or any other store closer to your hardware store. Go buy them and make sure you have them before you begin your job. So now I'm going to show you what the tools are that you would need to do this job. And then we'll head back here. We'll disassemble this unit. We'll head in there. I'll show you the part that you will need to replace. I'll show you the new part. We will put it in there and that will take care of our problem. So basically, these are the tools you're going to need. Your screwdrivers, like I said, basically these are all tools you will already have. Most homes will have these tools, but if you don't, just head to any store. Make sure you have them. Take note of them, and before you begin your job. All right. So I'm going to take you now to the unit so we can begin to disassemble right now. So we're going to begin to disassemble this unit. So the first thing you need obviously is your flathead screwdriver. So there is a screw back here, it's hidden. You do not see it right now, but you will need to get to that first. So the first thing you need to do is to pop this open. Now you gotta be careful so that you don't scratch it. You don't scratch the unit. Okay. So that just popped out. It's a very small unit, and make sure you keep all your parts because you're going to need them when you're done to put them back in there. All right. And then we're just going to take this screwdriver out. And again, make sure you keep all your screws together because you're going to need all of them when you are done. And this usually you can just pull out. Put that aside. And this also is just a part that you can pull out, because that covers the valve right there. And the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this unit as well. So we're gonna unscrew that. The screws here are a little longer, so it may take you just, I don't think it doesn't take you a minute to unscrew. Unscrew one, so the next one is where I unscrew the second one. And once you unscrew these, you also have to pull out your switch, which is the switch that controls the hot and cold water. So that's in there, so you got to pull it out. I mean, you can actually pull everything together with this unit, so it all can come out together. Okay, so just remember though that that's going to go back right in there later on. Okay, so I just pull that out. So right here, you just make sure that you keep this part, you keep this together, because what this does is it just help prevents any leakage. It really holds against this. It's usually stuck against this place. So what you do is you can leave it there. You know, you don't have to take it out. We're gonna just put it back together, reinstall it together. Okay, so you can leave that right in there. So I'm gonna put that. Actually, one other thing I wanted to show you is that, because you remember now we are playing with screwdrivers, small screwdrivers, screws here, all right? So one thing you have to make sure is that you have to close your drain, okay? I just basically put a towel down here because it was also wet, because I have had a lot of leaks here. So I just put a towel down here. But even if it is dry, you still want to close that drain, because you don't want your screws falling in there. You don't want to lose your screws, right? So you keep that closed. I just put a towel there to close that. Just want to point that to you as well, because it's important. All right. So the next thing you have to do is, using your flathead screwdriver, you have that screw that you have to unscrew, because that's going to help you remove this unit. Okay. So there's a single screw here. Just make sure you unscrew that. And make sure you are keeping all your screws together somewhere where you can see them once you are ready to assemble the unit back. And next, we're gonna pull this out. Okay, so usually you can use this to just wiggle it out a little bit. Okay, all right, so the next thing is we're gonna unscrew the whole part. And what I did was, I actually used, that's when you will need to use this to unscrew this whole unit out. Okay, so this whole piece comes out. So what you do is, this is what is screwed into this. So this thread right here, just be careful, right? But make sure that you can hold that a little tight, but hold it in place, and then unscrew it. Once it's loose a little bit, you can use your hand to try to unloose the rest of it. If not, make sure, you know, obviously you're doing it, because there's a thread here. You don't want to lose that when you're assembling the back. So lose that, see that? So that comes out. You can easily pull this. All right, so just make sure that, again, you don't hold too tight on this, because you don't want to lose the thread. So you're going to hold this. All right, you're going to lose this out. Do not lose this unit too much. Your attention should be on this piece, because this is screwed in here, as I said. So make sure you just hold that a little tight, and then you unscrew it. Okay, and the whole unit should come out like that. All right, so take that piece out. So the reason why we had a leak here is because this thread is worn out. Actually, there should be a rubber band in here, but as you can see, it's missing now. So that was the reason why we had a leak here. However, you do not need to replace everything here. You don't need to replace this part. This is the only unit that's bad. That's the one you need to replace. Okay, well, if you want, you can take the whole piece. Okay, you can go to a Lowe's or Home Depot. You can take this piece with you. They'll show you the part that you're gonna need. But once you get the part though, you're gonna have to unscrew this. All right, and take this out because you don't need to replace this. What you need to replace is just this cartridge. All right, you're gonna get a new one. You're gonna put it back in there, and then just screw it back in there. All right. But one thing I want to show you is that you gotta make sure that you don't lose your. You see this little thread over here. You make sure you don't lose it. It's stuck in there. It didn't because it's been there for a long time, so it didn't come off. But sometimes it could come apart. When it does, before you start a new one, just make sure that you do not lose that because again, that is to help prevent a leak. All right, so make sure that that part is there. They do sell that separately if you need it, just in case if you lose it or if that part is bad. They sell that separately. It's about $4 or $5. Okay, but right now that's good. It's in place. I saw it, so I will leave it right there. I don't need to replace that. So I'm just going to replace this piece. This is all I need to replace. It's going to come in here. So I'm going to show you the new one I bought right now. All right, so this is my new cartridge that I just bought. I actually got this from Lowe's. It's about $45 a piece. Now, if you look in here, it already has the grease there to lubricate it, so you don't need to buy any extra grease to lubricate when you are installing the back in here. All right, like you see this right now, it's lubricated, so it comes already lubricated. All you have to do is just screw it in. Okay, so we are going to take this, like I said, we're going to take this apart. This is the bad one. And we are going to install the new cartridge. All right. So again, it's lubricated already. So all we have to do is just to put this in there. And just make sure that you screw this tight. Okay. All right, so we have that nice and tight. This part goes on it. So this is the one I was missing. I'll show you what it is, so you can see the difference. This is a new one. You see how that rubber is supposed to be, okay? And you see the old one is all worn out. That's the reason why we had a leak in our faucet, in our shower head, and then if you have a faucet, it can also cause a leak there. This is a new one. It's nice and tight. This is the old one. You can see that it is all worn out. All right, so the next thing we have to do now that we have the new one in there in our valve, we're gonna install our valve back in here. Make sure this part is outside. All right, so that goes right in there. But again, don't forget, make sure you don't lose this thread out there. So you install that. So you see, you just have to screw that in. All right, and it holds in place. You don't need to make it over tight. So you just keep it in place. This is already, you also screw this, okay, that piece, make sure it's tight. All right, make sure that is tight. And this is all in place. All right, so once we do this and we turn our water on, we shouldn't have any water issue at this point now. But you remember we took a screw out here, so we gotta make sure we screw that back in. So I'm gonna use a flat hand screwdriver to screw that back in. So that goes right here. It's winter time, so I can feel the cold air coming from in here. It's a very cold time in the northeast right now. So you screw this back in. All right. All right. And next, you can actually, like I said earlier on today, you just put your covering, which is this. But remember, I told you got to put this back because this is your switch to the faucet or to the shower head, or if you have a faucet. Okay. Although here we won't have a shower head, we don't have a faucet, so we're just going to put this in. This locks in, but make sure you, as you're putting this in, you're aligning this piece with the hole where it goes. Okay. If it doesn't go smoothly, you should just wiggle a little bit. It will fit right in place. You don't need to do a whole lot with that. Okay. And line up your screws. Okay, because you're gonna have to screw that back in place. So I'm gonna just get my round hair screwdriver here. So we're gonna screw that in place quickly. Any other time where you may just want to change this unit, if it is bad, you don't have to wait for any leaks. You can do that anytime. This is just how to do it. In that case, you wouldn't even need to do anything with this piece. You don't need to change the cartridge. You just need to change that. But right now, I'm okay with this, so we're going to leave that in place. We'll probably in the future maybe get a new one, but not right now. So screw that in place. Put the just 2 screws. Normally, you just have to screw those in place. Once that is in place, next you're gonna have this covering just to cover this unit, and you can put that in place as well. Okay, that should fit in. All right, you don't have to screw that. All you have to do is just make sure that you snap that in there. Now the last piece is we're gonna put our switch. Make sure before I took it out, the water was turned off. All right, so when you put this in, just make sure that you got it right to the off setting. Okay, so I just want to line it because that's the off setting. Just line that up. All right, because I already had it off before I disassembled the unit. And then you got to screw this part in. Remember, we took that out. So we got to screw that back in there. All right. And next, we just have to put the cap over it. And that's the last thing we have to do. Once we do this, all right, so we are all done. Now, once you do this, obviously don't forget, you have to head back to your water source and go and turn your water on. So ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and look forward to more videos to come. And I thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and I hope this is going to be helpful to you and your family and save you some money as well.